As we all know, over the last 2 days, over 7, I believe, attempted attacks on many key Democratic officials, such as the billionaire philanthropist George Soros, who mainly contributes to corporate Democrats, specifically ones like Hillary Clinton, who has also been under the heat for being possibly targeted by these attacks. Barack Obama, I believe Bill Clinton, which is quite interesting that they had to go out of their way to make two separate bombs for both of them, as they live in separate houses even though they're married. Interesting things with Bill Clinton. So those guys, I believe Andrew Cuomo as well was attacked. So those are 5. I know there's many others, a couple others who were targeted by these bombs that were made by some crazy hooligan. And this is quite the interesting story because this is showing how many of these Democrats are being targeted all at once by the same guy. And the media has refused so far to even call it terrorism. Even Trump himself going on to condemn it, but never actually calling it what it is, terrorism. I mean, if a Republican were to be targeted, such as Donald Trump himself, his fan base would go all over that, calling it terrorism, maybe even using the word Islamic terrorism, trying to imply that there was some sort of Muslim after Trump for his policies and racist comments. But, some people never change, and the fact that this isn't being pushed farther as being called terrorism, and anyone who isn't like siding with the Democrats on this one is an is a terrorist. It's quite sad. But what's even sadder is this man right here, Milo Yiannopoulos. He was quite big in 2016 for being this troll and satirical type of conservative, for having far outlandish policies, even past Trump's outlandish policies. And he decided to comment on this. We could see right here. I'll read you straight from his Instagram. This was removed, so I can't read it straight off, but here's a picture that the Daily Beast got. Just catching up with news of all of these pipe bombs. Disgusting and sad that they didn't go off and the Daily Beast didn't get one. So there is a normal response of calling out these as right-wing terrorist attacks, and then there's this response, which is genuinely sad that you would even have to go about doing that. And it's sad for Milo, seeing as how he has to get back into the news just by doing this. Now he's been fading out forever, ever since he went on Joe Rogan and supported pedophilia that was even committed to him, showing how insane and possibly mentally unstable he was. And getting kicked off Breitbart by pissing off some rich conservatives. So he's kind of been deplatformed by even the right, and this just shows how he's kind of desperate to get back into into the attention of all the mainstream media and the non-mainstream media, just the media in general. He's trying so desperately to get back in. He'll do something ridiculous like this, and not even going with the conspiracy route. He doesn't even go for that route, which is just as sad, but maybe not even as sad as wishing death upon other people. So, Milo, this isn't going to paint him well, and I don't think that's his intention at all. There is a saying that in showbiz that any publicity is good publicity, or no publicity is bad publicity, but that's kind of not true, as we've seen in many cases. There are just times where people can self-implode their aspirations by doing just one thing, such as the whole Brett Kavanaugh announcement. That was a good example of that. No publicity is bad publicity, just being thrown out of the window. But anyways, interesting. The Daily Beast tried to get this taken down, which I think that this is a fair time to take something down like this. I know many people have been complaining, especially on the left, about censorship, and the right. I'll give them some props too for trying to tackle the issue of corporate censorship. Some companies like Facebook, which I believe owns Instagram at this point, But this is kind of a case where a threat wishing violence on people. This one, I could favor them taking it down. But to Instagram and Facebook's credit, they did not entirely get rid of Milo Yiannopoulos. They just took down this one post calling for violence and wishing for violence upon liberals. So props to Facebook where it should be. I know Mark Zuckerberg and the whole Facebook, Instagram conglomerate have had some negative light on them in the past couple months. Stocks have been somewhat plummeting, and hopefully they either reform or get out of the business. But for now, we just have people like Milo Yiannopoulos to pity and just laugh at for being ridiculous just to get attention and be famous.